Hi, and welcome to a new episode of the Luxembourg PVC Stories. Today's guests are Gwen and Alexis of Vauban Infrastructure Partners. First of all, welcome, and can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you for having us. Gwen Colin, Head of ESG Research for Vauban Infrastructure Partners, and very happy to be here today.
Hi Stéphane, my name is Alexis Roux, and I'm running Vauban's Operations in Luxembourg.
Great, so Vauban Infrastructure Partners, what can you tell us about your firm? Who, when and how did that whole adventure start?
So I can tell you about my own adventure with Vauban, which was at the end of 2019, November 2019, I met Gwen Colin through one of the trips in Hong Kong when I was based there at that time. And I was introducing our capacity as a consultant of bringing ESG strategy within infrastructure funds. And at that time, they were just launching the firm Vauban. So the team itself was composed of 37 employees and had 2.5 billion asset under management. They had 15 years of track record working together within the group BPCE and Natixis, and they were launching the firm dedicated to infrastructure investment, equity investment in Europe with a diversification pocket in North America. And they were looking to establish their own ESG strategy. So that's when we begin the journey together. And as of today, we have 85 employees with over 10 billion euro asset under management. So ever growing company and targets.
Great to hear.
And maybe a few words for Luxembourg. Then in 2019 too, we set up the office here officially at the time of the spin-off from BPC and Mayrova.
Makes sense too. So you mentioned infrastructure investments. What is typically, let's say, your investment you would kind of conduct, and how do you source such kind of deals?
So we are, like I said, we're investing in equity, infrastructure assets. We are targeting mostly mobility, digital, energy transition, waste and water management, in addition to our historical social building PPP that we had in portfolio. It's a bit less now in the pipeline. And now we have reviewing the the transition investment value add, and I would say greenfield strategy, relaunching in order to go to transition assets which are smaller but capex intensive and very interesting for us to as an addition of our core strategy. So that's maybe the flavor of the moment, I will say. And where do we source? I mean, it's like I was saying, it's 15 years of track record plus now with Vauban. It's a very long-term industrial partnership that is really the base of the sourcing of our assets. So bilateral, I would say, even if we also look, of course, at auction like all the market, but bilateral is maybe the key of our strategy of pipeline.
And within this context of investments, any specific deals you would like to highlight, or which were kind of on your side new or refreshing?
Maybe just to illustrate what I was just saying about that bilateral industrial partnership and how it creates value to our pipeline, I will give you a few examples. We have one of the main optic fiber platform in France. We have been to invest at the very beginning, 2009, around optic fiber in the rural areas. This platform is, of course, very successful and with very long-term industrial partners with the different industries and public authorities, and we have created a full, I would say, ecosystem around this platform. Thanks to this relationship and long-term views that we have built together, we have won, for example, a very large deal, I will say, in Spain with Telefónica, which has been asked to our industrial colleagues how was it to work with Vauban, and we know that it has been the deal maker, I would say, for us to win that deal in Spain. That's maybe one example related to the pipeline. Then I will give you another example related to Vascosa. So it's a rail car leasing platform that we have created from an asset was in Germany. AVS1 was listed. We delisted this company, and we have acquired a family company based in Switzerland to create this platform, which is now one of the leading platforms in Europe. I think it's number 3 or 4 now in Europe in terms of rail leasing, rail car leasing. And it's another example of how creative the investment team can be. It's not only here on the market and we make a bet. It's really how we create opportunities in order to create value to our portfolio, to bring those deals in-house.
And also, when you look at infrastructure now globally or in Europe, with the geopolitics of the moment, you see that infrastructure will be even more strategic in the future, be it around the energy transition or simply the supply. You mentioned fiber optics, data centers, AI coming. So I think you are at the kind of forefront and also at the core of that.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, it's key in our society. It's key to face those different transitions that we are seeing in the market. Digitalization, sovereignty of the data, it's also very important. Transportation, how we go also from decarbonization of the transportation, not only by deploying the rail, but also how we work between each sector of transportation together to be multimodal in order to be more efficient. Is not to be competitive between each other, but to work together to be efficient and to bring value to each of the stakeholders of the sector. It's still very attractive, and see that the share of infrastructure in the portfolio institutional investor is growing. It's I will not say safe haven, but I will say it's today one of the sector that is looked really closely by our investors, for sure.
We also have heard that modern infrastructure investments do also comprise a value creation process and plan, which is then not just holding and then, distributing different revenues or interests, but very pleased by that, and therefore at the LPA level really believe in this strategy and are very happy to relaunch with you and some other kind of local members then a complete club. Great. Alexis, you mentioned a Luxembourg office. What can you tell us about your setup here?
So, first of all, we are a French-based management company. We have a branch operating in Munich, an office in the US, and of course a Luxembourg office too. From a Luxembourg perspective, we are 6 senior employees, and we are part of Vauban Operations teams. And we cover investor onboarding, regulatory, governance, and oversight functions.
One of the specialties of Luxembourg, so good. And you have also Luxembourg Fund?
Yeah, definitely. We do manage Luxembourg partnerships. So as Gwen said, we are long-term investors, so we typically have for our core strategies 25 years maturity funds, with yield strategies, so long-term approach, fixed income driven funds. So yeah.
And now we also like to look at your group itself. So how has the group evolved over the 2 last years? What has happened within Vauban Infrastructure Partners?
I mean, the group itself is it's continuously evolving. Like I was saying, it's growing. It's a very impressive success. We can see by the amount of EUM coming in and the number of assets growing. I would say for the past years, like you said, we are asset manager, not only investors, but the past years has been very key in order to review our asset management, to reinforce our work with our assets. We have seen a lot of refinancing, for example, that have been creating a lot of value within our portfolio, but also action on the ground to review with the management of our asset the different strategies to reinforce. You were mentioning ESG. Being the head of ESG, I have to mention also the fact that we, even in front of the, I would say, can be geopolitical backlash or kind of a regulation review that we are facing right now. The idea was not to stop and wait. It was really to go ahead with our industrial partners to make sure that the tools are in place, that the data is flowing, and that it's clearly used to put in place action plans. So we have targets, like say long-time investors, we have targets. We make sure that the action plans are in place and are reviewed every year. It has to be a value creator and not only a pain to collect data for the ESG team, but really to see the value that is created on the ground for the asset. And just as an illustration, 95% for our asset today got ESG action plans in place and can report every year. At the end of the year, we have an ESG fund report for each of the funds, and we review each of the assets at different levels, so European taxonomy alignment, climate, risk review, and biodiversity, social license to operate mapping. But most important, what are the targets for the coming year and what have been the action put in place during the year and planned for the coming year. So it's really an asset management tool and a value creation goal. It's not just to win the ESG, I would say the reporting championship. That's something that we hope we passed, and really to be on the ground with our assets.
We can also just here be on the same side, so really to have the non-financial value creation on top of what you kind of distillate with your investments long term. And here now you described a little bit your ESG strategy. Any specific thing you could kind of as an example share with our audience, what you have either implemented within your firm or one specifically investment?
So yeah, ESG is key and it's strategic for us. It was a positioning that we took from the beginning to be at the leading side, I would say, of the market, to position Vauban and to secure, I would say, our investors who were already invested in our funds, to make sure that we had a very good level of integration, but not only in the investment strategy, also at the corporate level, making sure that we had a good work-life balance. For example, we have a paternity leave of 10 weeks, which is not regulatory, but something that has been clearly established as something that it's a possibility, not only a possibility, but it's clearly pushed for. It has been quite easy to push people to take leaves. In fact, at the end of the day, they get used, the team gets used also to have people getting out for 2 months and a half and to reintegrate them. I thought it has been very important even in dynamic between the team members. It's not anymore a maternity problem, it's a parentality project. So it's something that it's common now to everyone in the team, so very well accepted and established. Flexibility is also key. We have flexible hours and 2 days work from home possibility per week, and so on, decarbonized transportation access, and so on. At the corporate level, I would say we have been working very closely with the HR team in order to incorporate those initiatives. Then, of course, at the asset level, like I said, trying to be best practitioner. And at the market level, trying to push also for new positions that we feel are making sense. For example, all of extra financial data are audited here in Luxembourg by PricewaterhouseCoopers. So it's not compulsory, it's not regulatory, but we believe that it should not be self-reporting. We do audit of financial data, and we believe it should be the same for extra financial data, creating job here in Luxembourg.
Also most welcome, sure.
But it's true, it's something we felt was making a lot of sense. At the market level also, we do a lot of research in order to develop best practices within, not only as a silo, I would say, between financial players, but working with industrial players, working with the regulator, the European Commission, the European Parliament, but also at national or territorial level, working with academics. They have very good reports that they issue and that are not always read or adapted to the practicality of the operation. So that's something, it's the 7th year in a row that we are doing those research. It's the 3rd year that we're doing it through a platform, so an association named InfraVision, which is a think tank open for all. And the idea is it's to be collaborative and to find the right practice, the right tools for the sectors to keep growing and to be what it should be seen as a cornerstone of the society.
Can only agree with those modern values and also the, let's say, positive leadership you're kind of bringing, and also to show that your talents are at the core and that we also need to advance. Even if AI now is helping out, we should really continue going in such direction. Well done. Alexis, you said that you're based in Luxembourg. As a fine observer of our financial hub and ecosystem, anything you would like to share with us? How the country evolved? What are the ambitions a little bit on your side and also here?
Yeah, that's the perfect bridge. So don't want to talk about AI because everybody is on it. Anyway, joke aside, it's true that technology and digital transformation is key for Luxembourg to remain competitive as a country. However, we should never forget that our business primarily rely on human interactions. Maybe that's kind of advice I would like to highlight here.
We often hear in the industry, people's business. Once COVID was done, everybody wanted to mingle again and then also share, let's say, their latest trends and insights. Okay. Now I think it's the part where we move to the more personal angles. So, Gwen, Alexis, could you just share with us what you actually studied before entering then Vauban, and what is a bit kind of your journey in the professional world?
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. I mean, my journey can be a bit seen as chaotic. It's not a straightforward one. So I've been trained as a legal advisor. So I have a master in business law and economics. And I have joined Crédit Agricole Asset Management at that time, first in Paris, then in Luxembourg. So I was at the Glacis not long ago. I say not long ago, it's 20 years ago, but it doesn't feel so long. And then I moved back to Paris at the head of the Sharia compliant range of product, because I was heading this type of product from Luxembourg. We were deploying it in Middle East and Southeast Asia for institutional investors, and I've launched the licensing in Malaysia. So I moved to Asia, stayed there for 13 years, passing through different companies like AXA or Janus Capital, the American player. And then I've done a break from asset management. I've joined a consulting company focusing on climate change, energy transition, impact finance, getting back on my first love, I will say. And that's where I was telling you at the beginning, that's how I met Gwen Colin.
And on my side, so nothing, I would say, surprising. I started back in 2007 in Luxembourg on the asset servicing side, moving into asset management. At the time, I joined Vauban, basically. Studies, so accounting, tax and finance. And first employer was Alterdomus, quite well known here. And I joined the company at the time, we were less than 200 people. So quite a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Participate also to a growth story there?
Definitely.
Okay. Any suggestion on your side you would like to give to any young talent who would like to participate to, let's say, on another adventure in financial services or private equity or infrastructure in your case?
Yes.
On my side, don't forget that emotional intelligence is sometimes more important than hard skills and qualifications.
Very interesting that you mention it. It's sometimes a bit underestimated.
Yeah.
True. Positive leadership, you mentioned that. Let's say emotional intelligence. So any person who kind of helped you in your career or inspired you a lot?
So we were just speaking about it before. It sounds a bit awkward to say that, but I will say that our founding partners, founding partners in Vauban, Guenola and Mounir, so the CEO and deputy CEO, for me has been the most inspirational people I've met in my career. So I'm very happy now to be there with Vauban and to continue the journey with them. But they have a vision. They are very true to their values and very transparent also. So I truly appreciate the leadership that we are into today. So
definitely, and they really put so much trust in every single person who is working within Vauban. It's really impressive, honestly.
And it's absolutely a very good answer, because you're working in such a firm with inspiring founders and also have right values, and who is then also kind of seen in the entire business. And no, that's great. That's also what we call the perfect casting. You're at the right place with the right persons. Nice.
exactly.
Now, on the last question, a little bit of inspiration now for our audience. Any specific books, series, movies, or kind of podcasts you would like to share with our audience?
Please.
I will switch maybe to music, and simply, without giving names, live music, any type, anytime, anywhere. Simply like that.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. You need to share some addresses or kind of dates then.
Maybe at the end of the interview, I'm going to give some tips for you. No worries.
Okay, excellent.
I will just have to check, because there is one book I just read not long ago and found it very, very interesting. Let's just make you the hours of the hour of the predators. I had to check the title in English. Is Giuliano D'Ampoli. There's an Italian writer, and he's writing in French and in Italian. So it's not all of his books were translated in English, but this one is, and extremely interesting about geopolitics and how we can envision what is happening right now. So it's his point of view, but it's always very interesting to understand a bit what's happening in the corridors. And if you have to listen to a series of podcasts, I have to say that, but we have the amazing series of podcasts with InfraVision Research.
All right, we will try to listen
So
in. Okay.
really invite you to have a look. We have a LinkedIn page, so InfraVision Think Tank for Sustainable Infrastructure, and a web page where you can find all the research for the past 7 years. Joke aside, I think it's a very good quality, and the new series will be up in the coming weeks, so please join.
Thanks for multiplying the different sources. And also on D'Ampoli, I think you also wrote a nice, very interesting book on the Kremlin before.
Exactly.
So, okay, yes. So also a great writer.
They just issued the movie, so if you don't want to read, you can go and have a look at the movie.
We have combined all the best media in it. So thanks a lot, Gwen and Alexis, for joining me today, and see you very soon. Bye.
Thank you very much for listening.